Greetings and welcome to Georgian Crossroads. This is Byrne Power, and today what I've decided we will do is do a little trip through Unexpected Tbilisi. Now, it's not totally unexpected, but it is something that more people should do when they come here. And that is to walk down to what's called the Dry Bridge and to explore the large flea market, swap meet, yard sale, I don't know how you call it, but the place where a lot of old stuff is just hanging around on the street. Now, this footage is from a couple of years ago, and they've changed things in the last few weeks, but I think this will still be a very good representative of the kinds of things for sale on the streets of Tbilisi at the Dry Bridge. By the way, they call it the Dry Bridge because there used to be water flowing under the first part of the bridge, and then they changed it and made a highway out of it, and thus the phrase the Dry Bridge. But come along with me. We're just going to look at what's on the ground. Now, if you really want to get a good look, freeze frame the video and stop. It should be in good enough quality where you can see what's really on the ground. So give it a look. Well, let's get the pigeons out of the road, shall we? And go look around at the debris on the Dry Bridge. Actually, this is not the bridge. This is just kind of a street off to the side. A bunch of guys sitting around. And let's look down, see what we've got. And you can find absolutely anything here. What are those? The kind of things you use in medical supplies. I found really nice bottles and beakers, scientific stuff at the Dry Bridge. Okay, what do we got here? Glasses, some of the stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of porcelain and pottery, so I would make sure I really look around. And I didn't even go with the video this time to the section which had all of the pottery and dishes in it. It's in another section off to the side. And some pelts for you there. And need a little food? Yeah, there is no food service there, so bring your own. Let's see, what do we got? Need an abacus? Got some books, rarely anything in English, mostly Russian actually. In fact, if you speak Russian, this is a good place to shop. What do we got here though? Although, always look at art books if you're interested in art, because usually they're in three languages: Russian, English, and Georgian, or just English and Russian. So that's a good thing. Okay, get some glasses. If you're going to spend a while here, you might want to pick up some silverware and glasses out here. You can buy it in other shops, but it's kind of cool here. See that kind of interesting looking relief? It's kind of a brass relief thing. That's a specifically Georgian style of art. I have been tempted on more than one occasion to start collecting those. I've never seen them quite anywhere else, but it's definitely a Georgian thing. Let's see, what else have we got here? Okay, yeah, coins, lots of those. Again, more plates and such. What kind of shoes was that person wearing? Bowls, glasses. And you got to watch meeting the eyes of anyone or stopping for any long time, because what will happen is someone will immediately start haggling with you. I was haggling with a woman, got her down about 5 lari from the price she was asking. Lari, for those of you who don't know, at the time of that I'm talking, it's about 2 lari and 85 tetri to the dollar, which makes it pretty powerful for us. Lots of buttons, coins. There's a little hammer. Yeah, so when you make sure you do not settle for the first price that you're offered, especially if they get, what is that? Oh, it's like a Nazi helmet, several of them. And there's, of course, a lot of communist artifacts here as well. If you need a poster of Joseph Stalin, you can probably find one here. And there are people who have a lot more than what they have on display here. Often this is just their advertising.
What about this one?
I see.
This one.
That's a radio? No.
No. This is, do you know? It's a
Yeah.
limonade, but Soviet quality, with instruction, perfect condition.
Good.
Would you like?
No, not today.
A radio, maybe.
I see. No, not today. Thank you.
Дима, сколько стоит?
What else we got? Anyway, so, they'll often offer you a price. They will see that you're not Georgian and will try to get more money off of you. But you should start low and go up. And if you can't speak any Georgian or Russian whatsoever, write it down on a piece of paper or, show them on your phone, whatever you need to do. Use your fingers if you have to. There's some nice little wall portraits or pictures there. Yeah, you're probably not going to need to buy a lock while you're there. Jewelry. Yes, this is a place to get jewelry. There is a separate bazaar for jewelry under the train station, by the way, if you're looking for jewelry. Okay, camera parts. I need a lens. I should check out and see if they have anything for a Canon. See those horns? Those are for drinking out of, although I just bought some cheaper because they weren't polished up yet. And I didn't want them for drinking. I wanted them for making puppets. So down below there, from what you can see, that's often where the paintings are. And there's a lot of paintings and also more touristy kind of stuff. If you want paintings, go down there. I did film a lot of them, and I have a longer video which shows them. But I decided not to put them in this. I'll put a link to that longer video that has a lot more of this stuff. And it's probably another 15, 20 minutes longer. Okay, what else have we got here? Shoes, feet. Who needs those? Yeah, what they've done is they've gotten rid of a lot of this rock here. You can find music here, and Georgian music, and Russian music. One of the problems is there's no way to test the quality, so you really have to be good at looking at these things when you buy them. But it's a great souvenir to get. Georgian music is wonderful, and this is one of the only places you can find some of the great folk music and such. Might I mention the name Hamlet Gonishvili? If you find any records or CDs by him, buy them. They're great. They're wonderful. There's some very cool looking books. Some of the Georgian, that's mostly Russian. Need some old Soviet style posters for your wall. There you go. Some of the wait, I'll come back to my thought later. Music. I wonder if this is Nodar's. There's a friend of mine named Nodar who has a collection here. I took these images before I had known him. There's Nodar and Thomas, who's a great book vendor, who just puts a few books out, but he has lots more, and in English. I picked up some interesting books from him. So, let's see, what else have we got? If you need an accordion, you can find one here. If you need a 78 RPM Victrola player, you can find one here. Here's a guy selling books. Now, if you look at the back at those books, some of those have English, like, that book right there, the grayish book. It's actually called Old Tbilisi. I just finally found a copy of that for 70 lari. The next day I saw one for 100. And 100 lari is about $35. 70 is closer to like 22, 23. And there's another one of those brass bas-relief things. And again, it's a Georgian style. I find those kind of interesting. There's some glass bullhorns. And your silverware. Okay, so here we go. This is all this unique style. And like I said, I've been tempted to just start collecting them. They're not that expensive. And I think it would be a kind of a cool thing to get. So if you come here, look for those things. There's a picture of Joe, Uncle Joe there. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you can bring that through the border. Just really, really package it up so they don't see the picture. Just tell them it's a painting. They'll understand that. But a painting of what might get you in trouble. So, but still, it is tempting. What else have we got here? Tools. Sorry, the camera is so shaky. I was getting too excited by what I was seeing. Okay, I think we just saw these guys before. Let's go the other way. What do we got here? There's just so much. It just goes on and on and on. And a lot of guys standing around talking. Like I say, if you meet someone, they're going to kind of meet your eyes and start wanting to sell you something. So if you're going to stop, make sure you're stopping for a purpose. And remember this word. There's two words you need to remember. One is Gamar Joba is hello. Or in other words, victory to you. But Madloba is thank you. And Ara, that's no. You need a bit of sales resistance to walk through here. You need to say Ara Madloba. No, thank you. Okay, now we're in another section that has a lot of really practical items. A lot of tools. Here's electronic parts. Those who are electronically inclined would probably find a lot of spare parts here. Need old Soviet phones. Let's see. Yeah, lots of rasps and drill bits and piping. And it changes from day to day. Sometimes you see the same person there. Other times, other ones. Ooh, there's a samovar. So you need a samovar. We've got one for you. Oh, got a little music coming in here. There's a guy who will open up his back here in a moment, and he's selling speakers out of the back of his car. Okay. Bits of glass for chandeliers. What else we got here? Who knows what fell off the truck, as we used to say in New York City. Microscopes. I love it. I just want to get microscopes. I really want an old one. Some of those look like pretty new. Meanwhile, back in the knife world, yeah, there's no problem carrying a knife around Georgia. Here comes the music. And more brass bits and pieces. Some of those can be used for flowers, I suppose. A lot of these are traditional things that kind of drifted down from the mountains. And let's see, more bric-a-brac, knickknacks. I often look for puppet pieces or things I can turn into puppets. What else we got here? Yeah, practical bits and pieces for electronics and alligator clips and all sorts of things. Meanwhile, back in the world of knickknackery, lots of copper pots and things. That's really cool. Sometimes they know what this stuff is worth, but it's rarely what it would be priced in the West. Rarely. So this is a good place. Musical instruments, old cameras, old phone. That is a cool old phone. I've never noticed that one before. What is that? Okay, and there's an old 78 player. So you don't need electricity, you just crank it up. And there you go. There's an old Victrola, there's an accordion on top there. Old Victrola type. Just wind it up, ready to go with 78s. Makes me want to start collecting 78s here. I am really, really tempted to buy one of those old Victrolas. It's about 600 or 700 lari. A lot cheaper than at the West, though. And what else do we have? Decanters, spoons, debris, pretty things, kitsch. Special plates. I don't need a special plate like that. Maybe you do, though, if you're into that sort of thing. We kind of passed my favorite scientific glass beakers and such vendor. And there's Churchela. That is the kind of Georgian candy that's grape, dried grape juice, kind of dehydrated grape juice with walnuts or hazelnuts in the middle. What else we got here? Knives, lots of knives. Again, if you're going to outfit your kitchen, ooh, there's another one. Like I say, I'm really tempted by these things. And, kitschy little objects for the living room or dining room. Okay, bad taste is evidently universal these days. Okay, what else we got? Like I said, you can stop this at any moment to see what I've got for you here. And I think that's about it. It may be near the end. What's she doing? Okay, chessboards, old suitcases, which reminds me, I know a bookstore that has old suitcases. Check out the tires. Those cars are just permanently parked there, and that's where they keep their stuff at night. And nobody busts them for it. Need a rustic axe or adze. Another brass bas-relief, copper bas-relief. I don't know if they're brass or copper. Something in between. Probably closer to brass. There you go. Music. There's a lot more music from the guys who had the big stacks of it, including my friend Nodar. Need a night bookend, I suppose. And we're winding ourselves down here. Yeah, we're almost at the end. So anyway, come to Tbilisi. This is, if you're on Rustaveli Square, which is the main drag, you'll find the Kashueti Church, which is really the only church between Liberty Square and Rustaveli Square. You go down behind, through the park behind it and walk all the way through the park. It goes through for several blocks. And at the other end, you'll come to the Dry Bridge. And the Dry Bridge is this area. It's just filled with debris. And we're going to start walking over the Dry Bridge here in just a minute. Here are the good record vendors. Little toy cars. Watches. Lots of old CDs. I would really check the condition of those before I bought it. Same with the records. Taken out. There's a group Aurora there, which is a pretty interesting Georgian kind of jazz group from the 60s and 70s, which has some interesting odd sounds on it. What do you see? Anything? Okay, well, we're going to start getting out of here. This is near the end. Another 78 player. I love this. Just in case of apocalypse, we'll still be listening to 78s. Oops, bootlegged porn, looks like. Old Soviet era. Okay, cameras. blah, blah, blah. Bric-a-brac, trinkets, tchotchkes, books. And this is the official Dry Bridge right here. And on the edges, you'll find the people who have just come down for the day hoping to sell one or two items. If they make 100 lari for the day, they'll be super stoked. 20 lari would probably even make them feel happy. And that's not much money. But if you look off to the edge here, this is where the river used to run. And this is what the Dry Bridge now goes over. And anywhere you walk on one of those red zebra stripes, the traffic will stop for you. So how was that? Lots of odd stuff on the streets of Tbilisi at the Dry Bridge. And I recommend, especially if you're any sort of yard sale junkie, you need to get down to the Dry Bridge when you come to Tbilisi. So this is Byrne in Tbilisi, Georgia, thanking you for tuning in to Georgian Crossroads. We have lots more planned. I just did a really great interview with musicologist John Graham talking about Georgian music. That should be coming up next week unless something happens. So stick around for that. Meanwhile, I'll just say Droebit, which means, it literally means temporarily, just for a while. But what it really means is I'll see you again very soon.